Today we're going to learn how to play Cartographers. Cartographers is a card-based roll and write game where we'll be drawing shapes onto a map that try to gain as many points as possible by fulfilling different edicts that the Queen has laid forth for us in these new lands that we're exploring. So the winner of the game is whoever has the most points at the end of the 4 rounds: spring, summer, autumn, and fall. Each round, different of these edicts will be scored that will give you points, as well as any coins you have earned will consistently give you points. And the presence of unaccompanied monsters will lose you points. So at the end of the 4 different rounds, the total of the points that you get for this, plus the coins, minus the ones for the monsters, each round will give you your total points at the end. So in this game, generally there will be different cards that get flipped out, and a different number will appear for each season. But as you can see on these different cards, there are different land types. So there are forests, houses, plains, and rivers, as well as monsters. Uh, so each card that will be flipped that determines what you draw will have either one or more of these different land types on top, and then one or more shape on the bottom. So if there is a choice between them, you get to choose what you want. For example, this Rift land allows you to draw any one of these different shapes into one location. And we'll do a zoom in here kind of quick. So you can see for any of these different locations, there's different symbols that you can draw. So trees for a forest, a house for a village, some slashy lines for a farm, wavy lines for water, and monsters, which typically will only be drawn by a bad card, but you can opt to do that. And it has a little angry face there. So when any one of these cards is drawn, you get to pick one of the land types on top and one of the shapes on the bottom. So here is a river. We don't get a choice as the land type. We have to put a river, but we do get to choose either we can take kind of this uh, seesaw pattern here and put it in and do some like water things here. And for placement rules, you can place them anywhere on the map. You cannot cover up the mountain spaces. Those are considered occupied. But outside of that, you can place it however you want. If you want to kind of transpose it in some way, flip-flop it, mirror it, anything like that, you are allowed to do as long as it's traceable back to the type of shape that you're doing. So you can either do the larger one and fill more locations, or you can take the smaller one and also cross off one of these coins on the coin track. Now, each coin that you have at the end of a season will give you points. So the more that you accrue earlier on each season, those will continue to give you points with them. So you can see there's different cards. There's the Riftlands, which just gives you one of any color in one area. There's one of each of the single types, and then there are some double types where the shape is consistent, but you get your choice between like a village and a farm there, or a forest and water there. All these different cards. You may have noticed that there are some numbers in the top left-hand corner. Each season, we are going to draw these cards until the number in the top left corner has been reached or exceeded. So we may draw a 1 and a 2 is 3 total, and then another 2 is 5 total, maybe another 1 is 6, and then maybe another 2 is 8. So after that point, the number here will have elapsed, and we will review the edicts that are up for scoring this particular round. You can see in spring, we will be looking at the A edict and the B edict, which are listed here. In this particular game, you actually go through and there's a number of options. So you shuffle up all ones of a particular type, which you can see on the back here, and pick one out. I've already placed one here, Mage's Valley, from this selection, but there are decks for each one of them. These ones have to deal with houses, these ones have to deal with forests, and these ones have to deal with various placements of things. We have one for each season. As you can see, in spring, we will get to flip over 8 value total of cards, and we will then score the A and B edict. So, for example, A is your second largest grouping of houses, will give you 2 points for every one of those houses. And B is for every complete diagonal line that you have filled in, going from the left edge to the bottom edge, you get 3 points for each one of those. So I may have something down here that's worth 3 points, and maybe some things fill this up as well. So that being a diagonal is 3 points as well. So that would be in spring, we would score those, as well as coins. In summer, we also get 8 value worth of cards, but we do B and C. So we would do B again immediately and do C, which is you earn 2 reputation stars for every water that is directly next to a mountain, and 1 star for every farm that is directly next to a mountain. In fall, we'll continue on again, and this time we will only get 7 value worth of cards coming that we get to draw and score C and D. And then for winter, 6 value worth of cards. We do D and then A again. This particular one, with D, there is you earn 3 reputation for each mountain space. So again, these covered in ones that have a continuous line of trees between them. So they're connected by trees. So at the end of each round, any one of these cards that we flip out will get shuffled back in together, and we will draw them again. So you may see the same cards coming up again and again, or you may see completely different ones from round to round. There are also some special cards that go in. One is a Outpost Ruins. You can see on this board there are some very faint kind of ruin locations listed here. If we flip over an Outpost Ruins, that does not cost anything as far as time is concerned, but the next thing that gets flipped, so example, if this Forgotten Forest comes out next, one of these tiles has to get placed overlapping one of these ruins. So I may come here and say, okay, I will overlap here and there and put in my trees, and then also get my coin for that. And remember that you can place these any location. They don't have to touch an existing one. They cannot overlap anything else or the mountains, and they have to be within the map itself. Those are the only placement rules. If you are somehow unable to place one of the shapes that is available, then you may place one of the selected shapes. You may place a 1x1 square of the selected colored shape someplace. So if I wasn't able to do either one of these, I could just come in and place 1 there. For the sake of a ruins, if there are no more ruins left and you have to do something like that, you may instead draw a 1x1 square anywhere on the map and fill it with any terrain type, so it doesn't just have to be the one that came following it. The other thing that goes into the deck is there are 4 different creature cards that each year one gets mixed into the deck. So here's a goblin attack, and these will give you some negative points at some point. The one key difference is if this gets turned over during a season, it does not get returned to the deck for the next round, but instead leaves the game. But each round, one of these will be added. So there may be a particular season where we don't see any, but there's twice the chance then in the next season that we may see one. You can see there's several different shapes on here. Now, what these do is in the game, if you are playing in person, then you hand your cartographer's map to the person around the table in the direction of the arrows listed. So in this case, you would pass it counterclockwise to somebody. They would look and draw this shape somewhere and fill it in with the monsters. Now, in the case of playing online, which is what we may be doing right now with social distancing, what you would instead do is find on here, it shows the lower right-hand corner. So without twisting this or turning this in any way, you try to fill it from that corner and go around in this direction until you can. So let's say I already had some planes here. I'm trying to fit in this diagonal line of 3 here. So I can't fit it here, I can't fit it there, I can't fit it there, but here's the first place that I am able to fit it. So I would go ahead and do that just so that it's kind of consistent for everybody. And if you're playing by yourself, you don't have to worry about people not being able to do these negative cards for you. So you would continue around, and if you still can't reach it by doing this point, you keep going this way and around. And if that still doesn't work, then you shift inside the square by 1 and keep shifting in. If you cannot place it at any point, then because things will kind of get congested by the end of the game, then you get to place a 1 by 1 of any land type somewhere on your map instead. So again, these will go out of your deck at the end of any particular round. So the negative thing about these is that you will lose points at the end of any given season for any side that is directly adjacent to one of these monsters that is not filled with something. These are where some attacks will happen. So as of right now, you can see from these 1, 2, 3 enemy squares, there's this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all adjacent, so I would lose 5 points for that. So clearly I'd want to come in here and try to fill it with different like water. It really doesn't matter what the shape is, just as long as there is something in there that prevents, that kind of closes in the bad guys. The other thing that you'll notice on this map is that there are some mountain squares. Anytime you fill in the 4 directly adjacent squares on here, then you can cross off that mountain, and that's another way that you can gain coins. So again, at the end of spring, we will go through and evaluate the A edict and the B edict. So let's just say I got 8 points for A and 9 points for B, and I have 3 coins here, and I have -2 points for 2 of the monsters existing here. So that would be 17, 20 minus 2, 18 points. It's probably unrealistic for the first round, but you continue each round and add up your edict points and your coin points. So next round, I will get at least 3 coins and possibly more if I fill more of those out and still lose points for the monsters. So after the 4 rounds, you total up all the different points that you have, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. And that is how you play Cartographers.